Chase, good to see you again.
Hey, how's it going?
Good. Yesterday we didn't talk about fights, so we'll talk about it this time. Obviously, the narrative surrounding this fight with Jim Miller is, he has more UFC fights than you have, I think, years on this planet. So,
yeah.
I guess after your last fight against Clay, someone presented would you fight Jim Miller? And you were like, yeah, I would. I think you thought of it right then. So, were you surprised that they presented you with Jim? And when they did, what went through your mind?
Yeah, that's the thing. I feel like going into this fight, a lot of people were like, oh, he called out Jim Miller. It's like, well, somebody suggested it. And I was like, yeah, I wouldn't mind that fight. And then that turned into a call out. But no, I think it makes sense as a good step up, especially from the Clay fight. And then, another veteran guy. And again, he's got, 46, I think, UFC fights. So, almost 20 more UFC fights than, again, I have years on this planet. And I fought a lot of veterans now at this point. Caceres was my second fight, which is crazy to think about now. It's, I'm pretty happy with the matchup. I'm happy to fight another left-handed guy, a true southpaw. I think that'll be fun. And then a guy that's willing to engage in the grappling, a guy that's not going to really have any respect, I don't think, for any of the areas that I'll try and take the fight to. So I think that opens up a lot of opportunity when a guy's thinking more about the offense than the defense. So, hey, I'm here for it.
Do you embrace this role of, fighting these veterans? Because I even remember, Joe Lozon did a Q&A in Boston. He said he was trying to fight you, and that was, several years ago.
Yeah, that one was kind of weird. I was actually I was on vacation with my wife. We were in, Italy, so it was, a weird time change. And I woke up at, 4 in the morning to, Joe Lozon calls out, me. That was kind of a weird one where he was like, oh, I just want to fight him because he wouldn't knock me out. And I was like, that's kind of sad way to present it. But, no, I don't know. It's one of those things where I guess it kind of sucks about the sport is you can't have too much reverence for people in their careers, especially if you're in the same weight class. You just don't know who you're going to fight and when. And it's I obviously have a lot of respect for Jim. I have a lot of respect for Clay and all these veterans that I've fought. But at the end of the day, it's them or me. And then I hopefully we'll get another younger prospect on the up and come after this. Another guy on a win streak. But yeah, for now, hey, we'll take what we can get, and I'm happy with the matchup.
You also posted on Instagram, I think it was the graphic of the fight, and you at the bottom it said, "Am I the third Paul brother?" Is that just a joke of you fighting guys that are a little older than you?
Yeah, I pulling a Jake Paul. He fought Ben Askren, Mike Tyson, Anderson Silva, fighting all the older guys. That's why not? It's one of those things where they're gonna put that label on you anyways. So it's if you accept the joke anyways, it's no reason to get butthurt over it. I think a lot of fighters are kind of sensitive, and I feel like I've had that beaten out of me with all the starting with the contender stuff at such a young age with a fight where I got beat up for a little bit. Half of the people were you suck, you should stop fighting, and then half of the people were you're the best, whatever. So from 18 now, 7 years later, I've been dealing with that the whole time. So I feel you get a little used to it, and embrace it. Why not?
Did it ever bother you, especially when you were younger?
Yeah, for sure. Again, the ego is such a big thing, and we're literally fighting in our underwear out here. You put out you can see someone, I feel in their most raw form of they're barely wearing any clothes. You're seeing how deep they're willing to go mentally. People go to weird places in fights when it's two men are going in there, and it's whoever's stronger is going to get the win. You're really bearing all, literally, for the audience. So I feel it's hard to feel you're doing that and then have people tell you that you suck. But I don't know, sports fans, at least in the U.S., I feel are kind of weird.
Jim said that he wants to get to 50 UFC fights and call it a day. Do you think you could get to 50 fights?
I hope not. I'm at this will be my 11th. I don't know if I want to do this 5 more times. I do want to stick around for a long time, but 50 fights is crazy. Especially even now, just the wear and tear I've put on my body. I can imagine, what he's got going on.
Chase, right here, on that Jake Paul note, have you seen the meme of his hair and tattoos on you?
I did, and I kind of looked like my dad in that one. That was kind of, but with I guess more the Dagestani beard, no mustache. That was, kind of disturbing to look at.
Sorry you had to live through that. But like you mentioned, you are a 10-fight veteran now. So when you look back at those 10 fights, has this gone the way you had hoped? And what are kind of your biggest lessons learned through this time?
If I can really be honest, I don't think anybody wants to come into the UFC and go 3-3 in their first 6. But even with like my Contender Series fight, like I was so disappointed I didn't get a finish. I was like, they're not going to sign me. But again, like looking back at all this now, I'm so thankful that they put me on the developmental deal. They gave me a little extra time. Like if they had just thrown me into the mix at 18, like I would not have done as well as I did at 20. I might have already been out and I'd be working a regular job now, like, or trying to get back in for a second stint. Same thing with, winning some, losing some, winning some, losing some. Like I built up the contracts a little bit. I mean, it's not like a huge pay bump when you're fighting like that, but like UFC's taking care of me and, giving me the time to develop. And I think, yeah, it really just kind of destroyed the ego side of it for me, which was nice. And it, like my last fight at 45, the Garcia fight, forever in my career before that point, I was like, so worried about like, what if I go in there, I get beat up, first round, I don't even really get to throw anything. And then I go to the hospital, whatever. And then I had that happen. And I was like, okay, it sucks obviously, but like I lived through it, went to fight another day. And then I've been on a streak ever since. Like it's just one of those things where you have to let it go and let these experiences, positive or negative, just take what you can learn from it. And yeah, I mean, it's just building the confidence, building the resume. And I mean, again, now here at 10 fights, I feel very comfortable, a lot more comfortable than I did at 6 fights. And yeah, ready to see where we can go from here.
Last one for me. You mentioned the developmental deal there, and that's something that we've seen kind of rarely for Contender Series fighters, but we are seeing more and more guys coming through the Contender Series who are 5-1, 6-1, 7-1. Do you think those deals would be beneficial, if they were handed out a little more?
I think in certain cases it made a ton of sense. Like I believe Mackenzie Dern also had a developmental deal. Maybe Greg Hardy, which is that just shows the ups and downs of it. Like it's an investment. And I see why they don't do it as much. But I think there's certain fighters, like definitely people on the younger end like I was, or like a Mackenzie where she's amazing on the ground, amazing jiu-jitsu, but maybe just needs a little more experience before jumping right into the UFC. Like get some of those fights out of the way, get some more stand-up. It's just, yeah, a way to, keep building somebody like close by, like in the Fight Pass realm, without throwing them right into the deep end of the UFC. I think it's great. But yeah, I would like to see more of those, honestly.
Thanks, Chase.
Thanks.
What part of your game helps make up for not having as much experience as someone like Jim Miller?
Honestly, at this point, I don't feel like it really matters. Obviously, he's fought with everybody, but like I have 10 fights. It's not like it's my second fight anymore. I feel like a veteran now. I feel like this is normal. Obviously, Jim's got more, but it's just one of those things where I feel like me also feeling like I've been here for a while, like, and feeling comfortable, that's going to help. Like I'm not going in there expecting like, oh, what's going to happen because he has so many fights. Like that's just the business. Like he's been working here a little longer than me, but we still do the same job. And yeah, I mean, that's how I felt with the Clay fight is like this guy's got, 30 plus UFC fights. I can't go in there respecting that. Like that's just going to be a negative if I go in there giving him the advantage of me thinking that I have something that I'm missing. Like, yeah, I don't know. I feel like we're on, even playing field. And the thing about him having all those fights is that's a lot of mileage, especially the way he fights. Same thing with Clay. Like these guys that are in here scrapping, like that is not good for your body long term. Not in your 40s at least.
All right.
Respectfully,
Yeah.
of course.
What do you hope this fight will bring for your future? Are there any guys you have in mind?
I mean, I'm in no ways looking past Jim Miller, but I feel like trying to get definitely some younger prospects. Look at some of these guys on the 3-4 fight win streaks. And, yeah, I think Jim propels me, like, right outside the top 15. I think if I beat Jim in a good fashion and then get another win against one of these up-and-coming younger prospects, then that can set us up for putting a number next to the name.
All right, thank you.
Just one more right in front right here. You know, Patty was in here, and what you just said just made me think of it. Since January, there's been a lot of young lightweight prospects like Rufi and Ignacio Bohemondez, Tom Nolan, and Patty seems to be one of them. Even afraid, like, you know, Patty's kind of leading the way for us cracking the top 15 because that top 15 in 3 years, most of them might not be fighting anymore. So do you see that, and do you see all these young guys that are also kind of circling that 16 to 20 ranking, and you'll all be fighting for the belt in a couple of years?
Yeah, I mean, I try not to think too far ahead as far as any of the belt stuff goes. But, yeah, I really do think that new wave is really coming up right now, and it's a really strong time for the lightweight division, which, I mean, lightweight division has always been one of the toughest in the sport. But, again, like you mentioned, some of these guys that are coming up, Patty, Bahamondez, Rufi, Ferez Ziam's another one of them. We've got so many of these younger guys in that, I mean, it's an exciting time. I kind of want to see some of the changing of the guard. I think even the fans are probably tired of just seeing Poirier and Oliveira and Islam and Gaethje and all these guys just circling, you know, just killing off all the younger guys. But, you know, hopefully we'll make it up there someday.
Chase, speaking of your division, right? The lightweight division is in a really interesting picture right now. You've got Ilya moving up, Islam being the champ, Armin and Charles at the top. How would you match up your lightweight division at the top?
How would I match it up?
Yep.
I think the Topuria fight with Poirier would be great, or Topuria with, you know, maybe Oliveira. Like, those were two that were kind of mentioned a little bit, at least online. Obviously, I don't want to see Topuria just keep starching all these old guys, which, I mean, I guess I'm kind of in the same boat, but on a lower stage in the division. But no, it's one of those things where was the champ at 45. Again, beat Volk, who I think is behind him now the best featherweight of all time, like just resume wise, and then also decisively finished Max. Again, another one of the best featherweights of all time. So he has more than enough pull to jump right up towards the top of the division. I think that would be great. Let's see, I don't know if Armin's fighting for the belt again. It sounds like he's not. I don't really know who we match up Islam with. Like, I just want to see any fight for him. I would love to see him in Topuria, but I think give Topuria one fight and then throw him up there. Who might go up? Oh, Islam might go up? I hope so. That'd be nice. Have all the Dagestanis out of the division. You know, make it easier for us jiu-jitsu guys.
One more from me. A lot of people are changing their nicknames now. Your nickname is the Dream. As you move up in your career, could you change it to the Nightmare?
I'd be ripping off Diego Sanchez on that one. I think I'll stick with the Dream. Well, I've already changed it once. I went from the Teenage Dream, you know, matured a little bit, turned 20. We took that part out. Just, the Dream, and Dream's alive and well, so I guess we'll keep it for now.
Chase, didn't Diego go from the Nightmare to the Dream, then back to the Nightmare?
Yeah, he transitioned a little bit, depending on the day, depending on the coach, I guess.